All right. I am so excited to be here with Katie Hershfelt, Director at Cultivate Events. Thank you for joining us in this program. Tell us a little bit about your business and how you got started. You're doing amazing things, and I'm so impressed with all your work.
Well, Robin, first of all, thank you so much for having me be a part of this. It's really exciting, this great course that you have going. And honestly, I mean, we, as colleagues, we fuel each other. So a lot of what we've been able to do with Cultivate Events is because of the way that we work together on different projects and all the awesome things you've done. So, Cultivate Events, we have been around for about 7 years now. I started this business because I really wanted to connect our community. And when I say we've branched outside of Santa Barbara at this point, but any local community with their local food movement. And, you know, it's so important, especially with everything that's going on right now with our environment and health, that we have a relationship with the people that feed us, whether that's our farmers, our ranchers, our fishermen, our food artisans, our chefs, our restaurants, any food purveyor, growing, producing, raising food. You know, they're a huge part of our community and support our vibrancy. And so I wanted to be able to connect folks with those people, and because when you have a relationship with the person that grows your food, you're a better person for it on so many levels. So I've always been involved in events, different capacities, nonprofits. I worked for UC Santa Barbara, UC Irvine. So I've been in the public and private sphere, and never really got to delve into my passion, which is very much this, connecting people. And so Cultivate was born out of actually a small family festival that our family put on called the Santa Barbara Fermentation Festival. And my mom and I started that event, and our main goal was to connect people with their local food system, but also local practitioners, and teach people about the benefits of fermented foods and probiotics and all of that. And that experience, about 2-3 years into that festival, I looked at my mom and I said, gosh, you know, I love doing this. Like, I'm putting my skill set to work, but I'm also coupling that with my passion. And she just looked right back at me and said, why don't you just do this all the time? Why don't you do more events like this? Why don't you, just do it. Just quit your job and figure it out. And I looked at her like, you're crazy, Mom, but you're my mom. So I think you're going to be honest with me. And that's exactly what I did. I did quit my job and started reaching out to organizations that I was really in awe of and looked up to. You know, the Community Environmental Council here in Santa Barbara. They run, the Santa Barbara Earth Day Festival, which is the Earth Day Festival of the United States. I mean, it's the first one. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary of the festival this year. And that was my first client out the door. And I just said, look, I want to help Earth Day Festival celebrate our local food movement at the festival. It's such a big part. And so that kind of catapulted me out into the community. And today we do, festivals, we work on conferences, we do farm to table dinners, we work with nonprofits to do fundraisers. We kind of dabble in a little bit of everything, but at the heart and soul of what we do is promoting our local food movement from the roots up, as we like to say.
I love that. I so love that. What an amazing story with the support of your mom. I mean, wow, that's such a beautiful thing. And the fact that you guys are able to do that together, and your brother, and sometimes
yes, back to our family festival. It did sunset in 2017. We did it for 7 years. It was a wonderful event. But we, put our blood, sweat, and tears into it. We volunteered our time. And as my business grew, it became less and less possible for me to put in that much quote unquote volunteer time. And my mom had other projects she wanted to work on. But through that, my brother, who's 17 years younger than me, he's 19, he grew up in that atmosphere. And now, he works alongside me at a lot of the events that we do. And he's an integral part of our events and also other community events. I mean, summer solstice, for example. So
yeah, he rocks. And
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and I think that, like, you could probably speak to this too, but in the events community, we are a big family. I mean, I can't even express how much gratitude I have towards, all the other amazing event producers in our community. And, we work for each other. Oftentimes we lean on each other for advice. Some of those folks are involved in this program. Put a shout out to Mike Lazzaro. I know he's going to be sharing some amazing information with everyone here. And we couldn't do it without each other and each other's expertise. We all have different things that we bring to the table, and that's what makes these events so amazing, is that diversity and collaboration.
It is so true. The collaboration is so important, and the events, especially the size of the events, as they get larger, you need everybody, and you need everybody's expertise to kind of come into the mix, and like troubleshooting and all of that stuff. And I've just been so thankful to be able to work with you on things and just trust, and like you just go for your area, and it just always kills it. But in terms of your area of expertise, you really like to focus on the food aspect in a lot of spaces, correct?
Yes. So, for example, at Earth Day and Summer Solstice, we've done, the food court set up there. But food is such an easy way to get to people. People love food. I mean, we eat food 3 times a day at the minimum, right? And that's a really easy way to connect people to their local food movement, especially when those food vendors are sourcing locally. And that's really what it's about when we partake in, helping a festival with a food court, for example.
So with putting on a food court or just events where there's food involved, what are some things that people should know as they're considering putting on an event as it relates to food? How would they maybe bring in local vendors, purveyors, and then, if you could touch on, I know we can't get full into it, but some of the food permitting and just some things to be aware of as people are diving into this arena.
For sure. So there's a couple things. One, local food vendors may not even know that they want to do festivals. They may not even know how to do a festival. I know whenever we first started our business in Santa Barbara, there was a very limited number of local restaurants, caterers, chefs that even had thought, yeah, I'd love to set up a 10 by 10 booth and figure out how I'm going to cook outside and prepare food for 35,000 people at Earth Day over 2 days. It's a big undertaking, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity for those businesses to get their names out there and to market themselves. I know a lot of the vendors that we bring into Earth Day and that we brought into Solstice, for example, we've had to convince them to do it. They might not know how to do it, so you have to help them through the process. Back to that, health department paperwork and all of those pieces. You may have to handhold. It's not going to be the easiest thing for you to do to involve local food vendors, but I guarantee that they're going to come with a local passion that your out of town food vendors aren't going to have, because they don't have ties in the community. They're going to help promote the event because they are local to the community. You're going to be putting money back into your own community. One of my biggest pet peeves with some of our big festivals that bring in so many outside food vendors, there's a lot of money that goes through a food court at a big festival. And any way that you can make sure that that money gets reinvested into the community through a local business is huge. And if you can support those businesses in sourcing from our local farmers, our local ranchers, fishermen, etc., which oftentimes they're happy to do, even if it is a little bit more expensive, because thankfully at festivals, you can charge a little more for your food because people will pay it. It's a little bit different because it's a one-time event. And I mean, people spend $12 on a beer when they go to a baseball game. So they're ready to spend a little bit more money, which helps make it possible for the quality of the ingredients to be higher. But it supports the whole community, because as the food court coordinator or festival coordinator, you're bringing in that business, you're giving them an opportunity to make additional income, you're walking them through it, you're supporting them through that process. And they then are taking some of their money and they're investing it into the local food movement. And everybody reaps the reward, because again, that marketing exposure is huge. You come out to the festival and, you stop by a booth and you may never have been into their restaurant. You might not know that they're a catering company and you can hire them for your niece's wedding next year, or, oh, they're popping up, once a month in a particular zone. I think there's a real opportunity there for exposure, and community support, and again, connecting people to their food. We as people are more likely to support and spend money and vote with our dollar on something that we know. If you have a relationship with somebody, you're more likely to say, hey, I want to buy meat from you. I want to buy wine from you. I want to buy vegetables from you because I know you, rather than going to a big box grocery store, or a place where you don't have a connection with the person that is growing that food or producing that food. You're paying the grocery store. That's not really the same type of relationship. So while I think there's a place for all of those different sources for food, the more we can support our local food system, the more secure and access to food that we'll have, and we'll be healthier for it, because local food is just healthier innately, because it's not, mass produced, factory farmed, it's mostly organic. There's so many great things about local food on that sphere as well.
I love your passion and advocacy for it. Such an important thing for a community. And you're also involved with farmers markets, and all of this stuff really allows a community to be a community as well. And so you're from the roots up is so true. If you want to just touch on possibly some of the, if someone's going to begin to plan a food court, or just have 1 to 2 vendors at their event, how should they get started with that? Because the vendor can't just show up with a 10 by 10, right?
Correct. Oh yeah. And well, the health department may not like that. That's the first place I would start. And having a relationship with your local health department is so important. You'll want to reach out and find out who the temporary food facility contact is. Every county is different in every state, so it's really specific. When I do events outside of Santa Barbara, it's the first thing that I do, because you don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. So you reach out to the health department, you find out who your point of contact is, and you set up a meeting with them. The reason that you want to do that is you want to build a relationship. Again, it's all about relationships and collaboration. And as challenging as it can be for someone to bring in a food vendor that might not be on the festival circuit. We all know that there are food vendors that literally travel around the country. They are really good at setting up their own food booth. They know all the regulations. They kind of have it dialed. When you want to bring in a local food vendor, they don't have that same expertise. But the health department is a great resource, and definitely shouldn't be a resource that you should be scared of. Like, oh God, if I go and talk to them, they're going to put all these, requirements on me. If you go in, you speak with them and you say, hey, look, I really want to involve some of our local restaurants. I want to support local business at this event, but I need your help to figure out what the requirements are and how we can make it easy for them to participate. They will help you. The biggest thing that I always mention to potential food vendors who've never done a food court before is keep it simple. So if you are bringing in, I'll give a local example. We have an amazing empanada company that started up a couple of years ago called Buena Onda Empanadas. And when they were in their infancy, they were still figuring out what they were offering. Obviously, they offer empanadas, but they also do salads and ceviche, and they have a wide range menu. And when I had first approached them about coming to the festival, because empanadas are a great handheld food, they're perfect for festivals, I said to them, okay, I want you to pick 3 empanadas to highlight at the event. You have a menu of a dozen. Let's pick 3 that are easy for you to make, that you can execute quickly, and maybe 1 salad. That's your menu. That's it. You keep it really simple, because the more complicated that it gets, the harder it is for them to execute. And especially when they've never done a festival before, you want to keep it simple. So again, when we met with the health department, it was, okay, we really want to bring Buena Onda in. They have a wood-fired oven, that they want to cook on site. They are going to have a 10 by 10 booth, and they're going to need certain equipment inside that booth. And the health department literally sat down and said, okay, they can par bake the empanadas, because it takes a while to bake an empanada. And when you're in line at a festival, the last thing you want to do is wait an hour for your food. So we came up with a great system. let's par bake, and then let's finish them in the wood-fired oven for a few minutes. So people still get that wood-fired experience. They see it being cooked in the wood-fired oven, but they are par baked, and they had specific ways that Bueno Hondo could easily keep that food hot and safe for the public, and they walked them through it. They really are a great resource. So health department is key to helping you figure out how to make it happen. If you try to reach out to vendors first and kind of let them go buck wild, you may get pushback from the health department, and you want them to be your partner. You don't want them to put up roadblocks, which sometimes they will do if they feel like you don't know what you're doing. And the best way to give them your legitimacy is to meet with them. So that is the backbone of bringing food vendors into a public event. Private events are a little bit different because you don't necessarily need those health department permits and requirements. But again, you need to make sure that whoever you're bringing into the fold feels comfortable in executing what you're hoping to, to have them execute. Because if they've never done it before and they don't have the experience, it could not go the way that you want it to. So that's kind of a brief introduction. There's obviously a lot more, but I know we have limited time. So hopefully that answered your question.
That was perfect. And I think that just building that relationship with your county office is huge for starters, but then I would advise people also to connect with someone like yourself, or that is like either a regional rep or someone just to sit down and additionally advise you outside of the county, because there's a lot to do, as we both know, for a first time go. Yeah. And it gets a little complicated and overwhelming. So I would certainly advise anyone who's considering doing, any level of first time food event where it's not maybe just inside a facility or in a restaurant, to kind of not only meet with the county, but meet with someone like Katie who has that depth of experience, just to at least advise, because I still call Katie to advise. So I've been doing this for a while.
Yes, and I should say, I was assuming that, if you have somebody on your team that has done a food court, that's how you would transition from working with mostly maybe out of town festival circuit type vendors to local vendors. But you really need somebody on your team that is well versed in how to set up a food court. You can teach somebody or they can learn on the job, but depending on the size of the event, you do want some expertise. And whether it's hiring someone like Cultivate Events, we do that really well, or consulting and having them train your staff, it's a huge commitment. And the biggest thing is you don't want to set up an event, not really know what you're doing, and then have the vendors day of not do well, or have there be a catastrophe. Like, for example, the health department not give you your permit because you missed some piece that was really essential to getting the authorization to go forward with the event. Those health department inspections, they happen the morning of the festival. If they don't go well or something comes up, they won't pass you, and the food court cannot sell, which means that all of your vendors now don't have a way to make any money at the event. They've paid their fees. They have food that's prepared that they have to throw away. It could be a huge catastrophe at an event. So definitely bring in someone that's knowledgeable in how to do this on the baseline. And then if you want to encourage them to bring in local food, if there isn't someone regionally, of course we're available nationwide, but try to inspire them to work with local food vendors and spend that extra little bit of time to really amplify the quality and the local community connection of your event.
Awesome. We do have someone in the course who is working on some local food events in the South, out of Greenville, South Carolina. And you're want to connect the two of you. Scott Hare, he's got a company called Gracious Roots. You're going to love him.
Oh my goodness. It sounds like we're soul
pretty much
collaborators. Yes, please connect me.
You're going to love him. He's an old college friend, and he has started this new business, and he also has an online foodie magazine. So you guys literally are like coastal.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, please. I would love to meet you.
I like the introduction. And then do you have anything coming up that we should be looking out for?
Yes. Gosh, we are in the in the cusp of fall event season. We have the Taste of Coast Village coming up September 14th in Montecito, which is going to highlight all the amazing chefs along Coast Village Road. It's the first event on Coast Village Road post mudslides. We're really excited about bringing people out to that area and reinvigorating downtown Montecito. We also have the Solvang Stomp. It's a grape stomp event in downtown Solvang in mid-October. That's October 19th. You
You
can come
actually
and
get to like
stomp.
stomp
Yep,
on.
you can come and stomp grapes just like Lucy from I Love Lucy. We'll have a bunch of local Santa Barbara County wineries. We've got some great chefs serving up wood-fired pizza and gourmet eats from the Solvang area, sourcing from all local farms. So yeah, we have a couple great fall events coming up, and then spring is jam-packed as well. We have Santa Barbara Earth Day 50th anniversary, April 22nd, I believe, and it's the whole weekend. I don't have the dates in front of me, but that I believe is the...
I'm talking to Kathy later this afternoon, so she's
Okay,
talking ability with events. So she'll give us the scoop.
great. Well, we've got a full schedule, and we're just looking forward to showing off the bounty of Santa Barbara. We have so much here locally, and we're so lucky to have those resources available to us. Why not show them off?
Very true. Well, Katie, I'm so thankful for you to share your expertise with our group and just what you do for the community. It's such a beautiful thing, and I'm just thankful for all your partnership, friendship, and collaboration over the years. Good times, and let's keep them going. How can people contact you if they want to learn more about your business?
Yeah, of course. You can email me at katie@cultivateevents.com. Website's cultivateevents.com, and we're on Instagram and Facebook as well. So, Robin, thank you. This has been a complete honor and pleasure, and so excited for this whole course. It's such a great collaboration of experts from our community and beyond.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you in the course. Thank
All
you.
right, sounds good.